Should we get, we'll kick it off. We'll get rolling. Beautiful humans, welcome, welcome, welcome. I was just hoping I wasn't the only one on screen then. Is everyone else on screen? Anyway, before we kick off, I'm really excited. Welcome to Beyond Coaching. It's going to be a beautiful kind of deep dive into this space today. But to kick it off, I would love to know where in the world you are coming in from. I always love to ask this question. So type away in the comments. Estonia. Ooh, I love it. Mind Valley. That's what I think of when I think of Estonia. Hong Kong, Norway, UK, London, Austria, Chicago, Perth, UK, Costa Rica, Finland. Oh, amazing. Norway, Oregon. Beautiful. Keep them coming because I love this. This is part of what we're going to talk about later tonight is community. And I love when we jump in and we see how big and beautiful and global this community is that is forming. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being in this space. And thank you for being open and ready to learn about something that has definitely completely transformed my whole life and many others that are on this call. And you are most likely here. And again, I would love your participation because the more we get to know about you, the more we can really help give you as much valuable as possible, which is really our intention today, is to be of service and to really, if you are a coach, healer, facilitator, or anyone in this transformational space, is really to help educate and open you up to some new possibilities that maybe you had never even considered. So that's why we're here to be of service. And the more that we learn about you, the more we can kind of like make it really relevant for you. So to start with, I would love to know, comment a 1, 2, or 3, or maybe if you're all of them, you can throw out your favorite emoji. But if you are here because you've heard about this little device, this little frequency device, and you're really curious to understand how it can support you, first and foremost, I know a lot of people in the transformational space often need to have their own cup full in order to serve in the way that they want to. So if you've heard about this little device and you're really curious to understand what is frequency, I hear that it's the future. I hear that it's where things are going in terms of our own evolution and health and healing, but I want to learn more about it for myself, but also to support my clients. So if that's you and you're a bit of a nerd and you're here to like, teach me I want to understand this thing that I keep seeing and hearing about, drop a 1 in the comments. 1, beautiful. 1, cool, beautiful, awesome. Lots of 1s. Okay, great. If you're here, again, I'm assuming most of you fit into that category. We said coach, healer, transformational expert. If you're here because you may have a well-established existing brand and business in this industry, and you may be craving a way to have more impact in the world, to create more income, and also have more freedom. And I don't know about you, but I was a coach, and I'm going to share my story a bit later, and I always had these conflicting desires. I wanted to make more impact, create more income, but I also didn't want to work more. I didn't want to work harder. I didn't want to burn out. So I wanted both. Yes, I want to make income and impact, but I want spaciousness to enjoy my life and have the time to be really nourished. So I am serving in a really impactful way. So if that's you, if you're a 2 and you want to learn about different income streams, different ways to leverage your time, more impact, more income, less stress, doing it all yourself. If you're a 2, drop in a 2 so I know where my 2s are at. Some people are getting excited and they're just like triple 2s. Amazing. Beautiful, lots of 2s, amazing. You may be here because you are sick of lone wolfing it. You're sick of doing it by yourself. You're sick of wanting to change the world and sitting at your little laptop and having to figure it all out, from the planning to the organization, to the marketing, to the sales, to the execution, to the coaching, to the healing, to the events. And you're just like, I know there's a better way, and you're craving like-minded community to link arms with where, you know, when we come together in community, we're much more powerful. We can create exponentially. If you're a 3 and you're like, where are my people at? Let's create, let's collaborate, drop in a 3. And if you're all of them, like someone's already done a 1, 2, 3, like throw out your favorite emoji just to say, yeah, I'm all of them. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Okay, cool. It just helps us sort of gauge where, oh, someone's a 4. Excellent. Okay, great. So this is really what we're delving into today. And we're making it very specific to those in the coaching, facilitation, healing space, whatever you identify with. And we are actually sort of really touching on these 3 things: this incredible product and how it's really shifting and pioneering in this health and healing space, the beautiful word that is leverage and what that actually means, and then community. How do you build the community? How do you better serve your existing community? We're going to delve into that. So I'm excited. I can now take a breath and say, hi, I'm Sarah. Could have done that at the start, but I will do that now. So if we're going to get the slides up. Just for some people are more visual learners, love a little bit of a slide to follow along with. So if we could get the slides up, that would be amazing. And whilst we do that, I'm going to, oh, beautiful. There we go. Thank you for my tech support. See, don't have to do all one. So this Beyond Coaching, like I said, is for coaches, but expand that out into whatever your definition is. Here to create more freedom, more impact, and income through high frequency products and leverage. Next slide, please. That awkward pause. We've touched on this. Okay, so we've also touched on, actually, we'll go back one slide. So what we're really going to touch on today, which we've briefly touched on already. Nope. One more across. I need the slides, but I don't have them. So yeah, we've touched on who you are. Next slide. Yeah, so what we're going to touch on today is some of the shifts happening in the coaching industry. Myself and Taryn, who you're going to meet in a moment, have been in the transformational space for collectively probably, I would say, nearly 40 years, probably, Taz, 30, 35 years between us. So we're going to talk about some of the shifts that we're seeing within this industry. We're also going to talk about high frequency products. We're going to talk about how you can better support your own nervous system, your own health, and being in your highest alignment, which I'm sure for many of you, is really key. Actually, we've touched on this. What is leverage, and actually what does it look like for you in your business? Because it's really important. You've got a vision, you've got a mission, you've likely got an existing business. So how does this support what you're already doing in the world? Next slide, please. Okay, hi. So I'm briefly just going to share my story, because I have, like I said, been in this industry for a long time, and my background was initially corporate health. I then corporate health coaching. I then moved into having my own business, doing freedom lifestyle mentoring, and then I moved more into female leadership mentoring. For me, 3 years ago, I found myself in this very interesting situation where I was doing what I loved. I loved being a coach. I loved leading people into living their biggest vision and passion in life. And drop in the comments if you're in this transformational space and you love what you do and you love helping people thrive. You love helping people see what's possible for themselves. You love seeing the transformation and the breakthroughs that people had. I loved all of that. Loved it. However, I hit a point, and again, maybe drop it in the comments if you can resonate, where I felt really out of integrity because I was really burnt out. I was doing lots of launches, I was doing lots of events, and I just doing it all myself. And I just hit a point where I was really burnt out, and I found it very hard to show up being this positive, inspiring mentor when behind the scenes I was really struggling with first and foremost health. I was also struggling with that pressure of launching all the time and inconsistent income. I'd have these big income months, and then I would have to execute what I'd sold, and then I'd have to do something else because so there was an inconsistency which stressed my nervous system more. And I was also isolated. I was spending a lot of time at home by myself at my laptop, and I love people and I love community, and I felt really isolated. So I was at a point where I was like not in a great place mentally and emotionally because I had this burnout, I had hormone imbalances, and I was really seeking change. I was really seeking a way to do what I wanted to do in the world. I wanted to play a big game, but I didn't want to do it alone. And I wanted to do it in a way that really nourished myself as well, so that I felt integrity with what I was doing in the world. And so that's when this little device came in, and Taryn's going to share her story. She's actually the one, we'd worked in business for 16 years. She brought it back. And for me, what I loved about this was, first and foremost, and again, if you're on the call, you might resonate, I just wanted to feel really good in myself. I wanted to feel like I had energy, that my nervous system was relaxed and balanced, that I could have the energy to be actually living a great life and be in integrity with what my message was. I also wanted, like I said, to make a big impact. And I really wanted to create some great, consistent, growing income. And so I did that. I started sharing my story. I relatively quickly over time was able to impact tens of thousands of people, which is something I never could have done by myself in my coaching business. And was able to actually have my highest income months ever, like mid-high, 5-figure months, actually when I was traveling around the world with some of my best friends. And I really experienced the spaciousness and the freedom that came with this beautiful leveraged business model. And it was then that I really was like, I want other people to know about other options that are available that are still coaching and still transformation, but can support that. I still have coaching clients. I still run retreats. I still do events, but it just all feels very different. And I have the community as well. So there's this safety and support, and I feel held by structures and systems and community that mean I get to really enjoy the journey a lot more while still making the impact I desired. So that's enough for me. That's the intro and a bit about who I am and why I'm so passionate, particularly about this topic around coaching. And I'm going to introduce on the next slide my longtime bestie, business partner in crime, Taryn Harrington. And I'll let her share a bit about her story. And she brings a real, probably 20 years plus in this industry, and a background and all kinds of degrees in health sciences and population health, and's worked as an expert in this field of social selling, leveraged business models. But her whole life has really been working with coaches and healers to help them have more abundance in how they work in the world. And so she brings a lot of wisdom in her shares. No pressure, Taz, off you go.
Thanks, Sarah. And you always forget my name's Taryn Lee. Awesome to be here with all of you. You know, I have never been a coach, but my whole life has been surrounded by coaches. Literally all of my best friends, everyone that I've ever brought into any of my businesses have always been coaches. I guess I've always kind of really stayed the path of being inside of network marketing, because I wasn't just a network marketer, but I was also a consultant to that space. So I'm going to take you back on a little bit of a journey to 2019. So not that long ago. 2019 was definitely one of those years that I know all of us at some point have had. That was my absolute rock bottom year. Like, relationship totally blew up. I was nearly having to file for bankruptcy. Like, my health was an absolute disaster, in such a disaster that my doctors thought that I had early onset MS. I was in that much of a mess. So 2019 was just a total disaster. And along that journey, I got really, really interested in quantum physics and quantum healing and, you know, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, and so on and so on. Because I thought to myself, gosh, if I've got this like MS, and my whole life, by the way, had been about freedom leading up to this, but if I've got MS, I'm going to have to find a different solution, because I came from traditional medicine. My background was in medicine. So I knew that traditional medicine couldn't help me in this space. And next thing, you know, I got to this point of rock bottom, and then I just decided I don't really know what to do. I'm at this point of absolute overwhelm. Nothing is working in my life. My parents are having to pay my rent, you know, no relationship. Health is just like, I don't know where it went, and surrendered to the universe. And I was just like, you know what? I'm at this point, I don't know what else to do but to hand it over to you. And so I literally did hand it over to whomever it is. And for 6 months, just kind of just chilled and just, you know, wanted to find my joy again. But along that journey, I got this knock on the door to say, hey, you know, I know you're kind of struggling with some health stuff. And I also know that you've been previously very successful in network marketing, and that you were, you know, you've been a consultant in this space. So would you be interested in maybe either, you know, looking at this product, taking part? And actually, initially, I was like, no, not really, because I'm in the shit right now, and I don't have space for that right now. But then I ended up finding out what this product was, which was this incredible product that, you know, it's funny because we can always connect the dots when we're looking back. For 3 months, I'd been doing nothing but studying quantum healing, quantum physics, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, and so on and so on. And then next thing in my hand, which felt like an answer to a prayer, was this beautiful device, which inside of it had all of these promises that it would, you know, be able to create and, help me with my health journey. So anyway, long story short, I then sort of saw this product, thought this is incredible, and ended up being invited to go and meet with the company, right? The company of Healy. At this point, Healy had only just sort of started to launch. I went there, I saw this incredible product, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I met with the owners, the creators, the quantum physicists, the whole team who had put this amazing device together. And as I stood there, I was like, every cell in my body just kind of really lit up. And I was like, gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do this because I'm not resourced right now. I'm not in a space to even be able to do this, but something was like, you have to share this with the world. As I said before, I'd come from the network marketing consulting space. So I saw this product that was lighting me up and felt like sort of synchronicity that I was being introduced to it. But I'd also was starting to look at this from a business perspective. And I was like, okay, here is this amazing product that, is about frequency. It's in a space that is completely new and emerging, and a space which is got a lot of curiosity around it. And then I also was like, and this is a startup business, and I knew from my background that if you have something that is really unique in the marketplace, and it's also at the beginning of a startup period, then you have this amazing combination. In fact, I knew from, my consulting days that it was actually the majority of those that had made multi-millions inside of the network marketing industry were when they had combined joining a startup with what we call in the industry a category creator. And so this is what Healy was. So here I am realizing this is an amazing business opportunity because it's everything that as a consultant you would dream of to have as a company. And then on a personal level, I was like, and here is this product that I swear I must have been manifesting or something, because my whole journey leading up to this was all about quantum healing. And here is this device in my hand that, it has the ability to heal me. But at the time I was like, I'm just not resourced to be able to do this. But either way, I just kind of just ended up jumping in and just going for it, because I could feel this incredible pull that I had to share it with the world. I knew that this was going to be something that was really going to revolutionize our industry and impact thousands and thousands of people's lives. So really the end of 2019 or January 2020, I went all in on this and shared it and took it to Australia. We opened up that market. It was incredible. We've had an amazing ride with sharing Healy. It's been absolutely phenomenal because the product itself is so phenomenal. It's a charismatic, interesting product to want to share. But the bit that I want to share with you is that, I was at this space of literally rock bottom. January 2020 is when I really said, yes, I'm really going to share this. From that space to September 2020, 9 months later, I had absolutely catapulted my lifestyle. from where I was in 2019, having to get my parents to pay for my rent because I just went through a financial disaster that year, to 2020. In September 2020, I did my first 100K month with Healy, 100K, 116K month from zero. So 9 months in, being so just like focused and dedicated in sharing this. So, I share that because there's obviously so much possibility inside of that. Now I want to come back to coaching, right? I have, as I said, lots and lots of coaches in my life. Basically every one of my best friends is a coach. And I've been very, I guess, almost purist in terms of, just being in this space. And it's funny because as Sarah is sharing her story about, last year it really clicked in for her while we were actually traveling all together in Europe. I started to realize, like, I see all of my friends, going through this, like, kind of almost burn and churn, always trying to launch, always trying to, create something again and again and again and again. And here I was, in my space, like every month, just this amazing check just keeps dropping in, me not having to launch over and over and over again. And actually, realizing like what an absolute gift it was to belong to an industry where I didn't have to do launch after launch. I didn't have to recreate myself all the time. Yes, I had to put a lot of energy in that first year to really amplify and get my business off the ground. But I felt like I didn't put any more energy than any other coach or any other facilitator would have done in any other launch that they would have done. But I was still 3 years later living off the checks, living off the residual income of that. And I don't think it was until I was, holidaying with Sarah when I said to Sarah, like, it's time to get off the island. Let's go travel around for a little bit. You're making a little bit of good money now. And we started to travel around. Did Sarah even, I think, for it really to land? And she's like, oh my goodness, we're traveling and the checks just keep coming in. And I'm like, yes, exactly. We don't have to do launch after launch after launch. We get to be able to actually live life. You get to be able to travel with your friends. You get to be able to do all of this stuff. And don't get me wrong, like I know Sarah, she's still, very passionate about her coaching and very passionate about helping people in that space. But equally, we've been able to really impact not just like 100 people, 200, my downline is 50,000 people inside of that downline. And I don't look at that as like, I look at that as like, this is how many people we have been able to help or transform or create a health transformation or a wealth transformation, or whatever that might be. 50,000 people have come through me to be able to create that. That's what happens when we start to create this like leverage, right? This leverage of where I put this huge amount of energy in for that year, really. And I still obviously continue to work in my business. But that initial like really big push into launching was that first year. And I'm still having the fruits of that. And I still will continue to have the fruits of that. It's phenomenal. When I look at that, and now what I am noticing, I guess, because I am surrounded by so many coaches and we have so many amazing facilitators, coaches, health practitioners inside of Healy, because obviously they just resonate so deeply with the actual product. But what I'm noticing is that it's starting to click in for them as well. They're starting to realize, hang on, that same energy that I would have put in to create a launch, if I launch this business, I might continue to be paid in these, passive incomes that are created because the network effect starts to take over. The compounding effect starts to take over. And so you're not having to do launch after launch after launch. And so even if it is that, again, many of my beautiful friends around me, they're so passionate about their space, whether they're working in like trauma or joy or wealth creation or consciousness or whatever it is that they're working in. But as they've started to build this business, like I see has happened with Sarah, as they've started to build this business, they're able to actually create the part that they really feel like they're really solely drawn here for. They're able to create that from a space of spaciousness and not desperation, from a space of like absolute service instead of how do I pay my next bloody bill, and it's just such a beautiful space that they're able to combine, these two forces together. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's where you wanted me to go, Sarah.
Well, I love the heartfelt riff. No, that's awesome. And it's something that I was going to lead into, and actually we can have this conversation and get the slides back up for those visual people out there. But the thing is as well, it's not, and we're seeing this huge shift at the moment as well. And this, especially, I would say last 6 months, this huge shift in the coaching industry, where it's not just people that are like, finding this inconsistency in income, or finding that, they're struggling with it. It's actually, we're finding 6, 7-figure, 8-figure coaches coming into this space, and not just, oh yeah, I'll share the product with a few people, but come in and be like, I really want to build, I understand this opportunity, and I'm going to build a huge other additional income stream in this space and aligning with this product. And I just wanted we can have a little chat about some of the reasons why that is. But, I know we've got some really big coaches that have recently come into this space, and they're saying, and they understand financial models, and they're saying, if you're here to make a big impact and you're not affiliated with some kind of product or social selling network marketing company, you're leaving so much income and impact on the table. And yeah, I just wanted to I guess chat with you, Taryn, because I know you're seeing this as well. Like, there are shifts happening. The industry is becoming much more competitive. I know coaches that say, I used to do a post and attract like 10 clients, are now not having that same magnetism and impact. And Sarah's there shaking her head, and you'll hear her story a little later, because it is so competitive now. And there's more regulation coming in around, I think, what you can share and being certified. I think that's happening as well, but also like getting visible. How do you really stand out? So there's that, but then there's also, we're coming into this, on the last couple of years have shown this, more instability, more financial instability. We have what's happening in the USA at the moment. And when people feel, and the market as a whole, buyers, there's instability around finances, sometimes coaching can be viewed as a luxury item of evolution and nice to have. But when people are more being conservative in times of more instability, they're more on like, what do I need? So these are a few things that we've had some conversations around. What else are you seeing in terms of the shifts in the coaching space? And I've actually been like researching and interviewing leaders in the coaching space, because I'm finding it fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few parts to all of this. I mean, one, of course, with any kind of, this is an interesting thing that happens inside of network marketing. Whenever there is financial instability, network marketing actually grows. And that's because people are looking for other ways to pay bills, right? So they come in because they're like, oh my gosh, I need another 500, 700, 2,000, whatever it is a month to be able to pay my mortgage, because the interest rates have just skyrocketed. So you'll find that in times of like recession or anything like that, network marketing actually significantly increases, because people are way more open, probably because they're coming from a different space of like having to create. So we see a big surge in that. So I even feel that with, this last kind of certainly 8 months, I'm noticing that people are coming in being like, I need another stream of income, because we actually have no idea how unstable the next couple of years are going to be in terms of global economics. So that's one. But then two, so all of the things that you were speaking to there, Sarah, around coaching, obviously it's going to become more regulated. There was a huge drive of like coaches, for a long time. As I said, I feel like every single one of my friends is a coach. But one of the things two things I'll say with the coaches that I've noticed. Recently, just a huge influx of coaches have started to come in, and they are not like struggling coaches, they're super successful coaches. I mean, we've recently had, like people that are earning 8 figures inside of their coaching business. And, I asked her, I'm like, why would you be coming to this? You're already making multi-millions of dollars. And she said to me, because of course I'm always creating multiple streams of income. And I know that this is another incredible way for me to leverage more within my community, and actually also create more for my community, give my community another income stream as well. So that was, that. But then also one of the things that I think that has been a real evolution within the network marketing space is that it's not what we think it was. This is not how your mum did network marketing, right? This is not how Grandma and Avon or Amway or whatever did network marketing. There has been a huge revolution inside of this space, largely because of this thing, actually. That's been the primary reason why we have such a change in the industry. But the skills that a coach has is actually identical to the skills that a network marketer has. So the skill transfer is very easy. You know, for you to really get your business up and running, you do some sort of launch, you know, which all coaches are pretty well skilled in. And throughout the journey, you are guiding, you are teaching, you are coaching people throughout the space in terms of how to build your business. I see actually many of our coaches, you know, they're literally transferring their skills to what they were doing in coaching into the space with their teams and with their community that they're growing inside of this. And actually, it's only making the communities better because of it. Like, because we're having such well-qualified people that are able to speak on the multi-dimensional spaces of what we are to be human and what it is to run a business, like the quality and the depth of training that is also happening with inside the community is much deeper, much richer than it's ever been before. So I think that the beautiful thing about coming into this space is that if you're not a coach and you're coming into this space, you have so much mentorship, so much guidance, so much community around you. It's literally a living workshop for you to build inside of. But if you're a coach coming into this space, one, you've got a new community to leverage and connect in with, but you're also still going to be using all of your incredible skills that you've acquired. So, you know, I'm sort of seeing multiple reasons, but definitely we've had recently a huge influx of coaches coming into the space.
And one more thing that I'll add that I've been hearing, you know, we're in conversations across this industry every single day, and with thought leaders in this space that also have a bird's eye view. And the other thing that we've been seeing is this like really high ticket, because if you're a coach and you're doing it by yourself, there's generally a desire for community, and therefore you have to invest normally very significantly, and Kim might share a bit of her story around this later. But if you're having these huge investments to be around community and receiving mentorship, again, if your expenses are big, even if you're earning really big money, you can again kind of get off the 9 till 5 treadmill, but then you're on your own self-employment treadmill where you're investing so much in your business and you don't actually have those resources for other things in life. And I think we're very holistic in nature. Like, yes, we have our mission and our purpose, but there's also purpose of having relationships and friendships and health and, you know, all these other aspects that we want to fulfill in our lives. And I think when you're constantly just investing so much and your business can kind of be all consuming, you don't get to feed some of those other areas. And I'm hearing that a lot from coaches. They don't want to always invest this big money, but with something like this, the mentoring, and we'll talk more about this later, is for free, so that you've got access to all these amazing, everyone loves to learn and grow in this space, but it's not costing you an arm and a leg to be involved in that. So something else that we're seeing and hearing a lot of. We'll just get the slides back up. And actually, for those of you, some of you are well versed in Healy and what it does, but some of you are not. We wanted to just bring up the slides again, just to give you a super quick overview, but also specific to coaches and how coaches work with this little device. So if we could get the slides up, and Taz, maybe you can just kick us off whilst we wait for the slides.
Well, I see the slides. I don't know if anyone else sees the slides, but I'm seeing the slides.
Oh, now
yeah, can you guys not see the slides?
Yes,
I have
sorry.
them.
I'm that one anomaly that couldn't see it. Okay, next. Next slide, please. Oh, well, there you go. You can kick it off with that one.
Oh, me. Okay, great. So, you know, I guess, you know, we're talking about the industry and all this bits and pieces, and you heard a little bit about Healy and what Healy actually is. And I know some of you will definitely have a Healy, so you're going to be very familiar with this quote if you have If you haven't, and when you do get one, you're also going to be very familiar with this quote. You know, they say, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And the reason we use this quote so much is because that's really the space that we're in. You know, this device is a bioresonance frequency device. And by the way, there is nothing like it on the market. There is literally nothing like it on the market. This incredible device has the ability to scan and analyze and look at your most perfect potential blueprint. So it looks at you with your most perfect potential blueprint, your energetic field and your bioenergetic field and your information field. It looks at that, and then it scans you and sees where you're out of balance. And where you're out of balance could be mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, relationships, everything that makes you human. It can actually see the information codes of where you're out of balance. The beautiful thing about this device, though, is it scans and analyzes, so it has the ability to somewhat, you could even say, diagnose what's going on with you, and then collate all of the programs that it sees that your body is literally calling out for, what we would call resonance, right? It's what it's resonating with. And then send back to you the exact frequencies that you need to bring your body back into harmony, back into balance, back, if you like, your blueprint, just realigning back into realignment. You're coming back to that space. We know that when you have blockages in any of your like energetic fields, this is where you have dis-ease, discomfort, disharmony and whatnot. And that manifests itself in, you know, multiple different ways. Is there another slide for the healing?
Yes, next slide.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so obviously from the product itself, it's a phenomenal device. You know, it's a class 2 medical device in Europe for the use of pain, migraine, anxiety, depression, fibromyalgia, like a list of different things that it's used for. We also have some incredible programs in there, particularly for like the emotional space, the mental space. It's an incredible program for anything around emotional and mental. That's, I think, why we see so much shift happen for women with using Healy, you know, with hormonal things or emotional, you know, things or mental things, whatever. We see a lot of shift with that. So of course, if you can
Next slide, sorry. Next. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we already spoke about that.
Next one. It's weird not having control.
It is weird. It's weird not knowing what flow the things in. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm just going to for a moment come back to the coaching aspect, is that, you know, for a coach, right, you're able to obviously use this on your own self. So you use it for yourself, bring yourself into higher performance ultimately, because if we're in any kind of pain, if we're in any kind of trauma, anything like that, of course, we're not going to be peaking out, performing as well. So personally, it's incredible. But obviously, you can also be using it with your clients as well. And many, in fact, probably almost all of our you know, coaches or facilitators do use the product with their clients. We actually have inside of the Healy a phenomenal program. It's actually my favorite program, called the coaching program. Quite funny, right? Here we are on a coaching thing, but called the coaching program, where you can literally put inside this coaching program what the goal is that you're trying to achieve, and it can see exactly where you're out of alignment with it. It can see your conscious and your subconscious blockages in not achieving that goal. So that's, you know, you're able then to really see like where you need to really spend your time and concentrate on. Think about the usage of that for your clients, also for yourself, right? So phenomenal piece of equipment that we have from that aspect. But yeah, you know, the thing that I absolutely love about Healy, and coming from, you know, a medical background, I'd never seen anything that really has the ability to like analyze and deliver back the same solution. Like usually you don't get that inside of this space, but something that can tell you what's going on and then deliver back to you the solution to whatever's going on in your body is phenomenal. But then to have something that can work, as I said, on your physical, mental, emotional, like everything that makes you human, it has the ability to tap into. Why? Because everything has a frequency. Everything is energy. Everything has a frequency. If we can find the frequency code, then we can literally recode whatever it is that we need to shift to bring you back into alignment. That's what's so phenomenal about this amazing product. That's why this product, you know, we've been able to create such incredible freedom, such incredible lifestyle with this product from sharing it, because it actually works. It actually creates massive shifts in people on so many different levels. You can use this, you know, if you're into fitness, or if you're, you know, into beauty, or, you know, super spiritual into the chakras, or, you know, you're learning, or there's just so many applications for it, that you can take this product, and whatever it is, how you ever show up in the world, you can use this product in that way, which is, you know, is phenomenal in terms of being able to really align yourself with something like this.
Yeah, and I'll just echo on to that, and then we'll move into the next piece. But I mean, we've been in this industry and around it and exploring so many different elements of it for such a long time. And we would always talk about, we'd be like, what if, and I'd love to see in the comments if you have also envisaged something like this and been around this space and tried all the things and been like, imagine if there was a tool that really helped us get to the root cause of what's going on in ourselves or with a client, and then was able to sort of, like Taryn said, offer the solution. Like so many people we speak to have been kind of envisaging this is where the future needs to go. And the beautiful thing about it is it really puts the responsibility and the power back in your own hands, not seeking always outside external input, but you get to have your own relationship with your Healy and your own, it increases your self-awareness, which is, if you're in behavior change, first of all, we need self-awareness, and then we can take different actions as well as start shifting and recoding those vibrational patterns. So from that kind of coaching, if you're obsessed with it like I am, and like many of us are, it's a fascinating tool that really does get results. But then, like Taryn said, from the business perspective, whatever your mission is in the world, whatever you're already doing, because it's energy, frequency, and vibration, and it works in so many aspects, you align it with your message, and it's a very nice then additional part to your business that is leveraged and creates an additional income stream. So there's the two aspects. Next slide, please. And before we get some other voices in here, I just really, a lot of times people are like, what really is leverage? And this is what we want to talk about. What is, when we're speaking into the freedom and what we've created, it's not to impress anyone, it's just to impress upon you a different way and what is possible, because we didn't know until we knew, and so we want to help educate others. Like, what does this word leverage mean, and how do we create it, especially if you're a coach, a healer, or facilitator? So very, very high level, we just like leverage. To me, the real key difference is you're shifting from trading your time, and even if you're high ticket, even if you're charging a lot of money, you're still trading your time, meaning I give you my time, I give you my energy, there's a transaction, and then it's complete. Leverage is when you're starting to invest your time. So when you invest your time and energy, you're investing in something that has exponential return and can, like Taryn said, pay you a year later, 2 years for the work you've already done. And this is why we're seeing so many people shift and look for leveraged and multiple income streams. The other thing about it is that you get to, I mean, I won't go into this, but whoever's into Bob Proctor, with this business model, the way that you can also view it is also creating multiple income streams, because anytime you align with someone who also wants to create a business with Healy, it's like opening up another income stream. And I won't go too much into detail, but there's so many different options and so many different ways you can get paid, that when it's just you in your coaching, even if you're doing, I know a lot of people do these evergreen programs, you know, that you still need to sell it, you still need to get it out into the world. But with this, even when you're asleep, and even when, you know, there's your business is building, your business is moving, assuming you put in some time and energy to get it off the ground. So Taz, did you just want to explain very high level? One other thing that I just wanted to add in, which is super relevant to this conversation and the trend of where we're going. Forbes magazine has recently released an article saying that in 2023, affiliate marketing is going to be the #1 way to create income for people. And the reason why is because we're going into these interesting financial times, and it's a way that people can start to have their own financial sovereignty and start their own business, but they don't need to invest hundreds of thousands into this business. They can literally align with something that aligns with their values and then straight away learn how to start creating income. So I thought it's relevant for this conversation. Taz, did you want to weave in anything there?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the thing, like with leveraged income, is realizing, you know, when I spoke about earlier about, you know, we're putting all this kind of work into launching essentially and creating our team and whatnot, but there becomes a point where it kind of creates this like flow-on effect where I do that, then the next person does that, then Sarah went and did it, then, you know, and so on and so on. So it's creating this massive leverage inside of there. Just to give you some kind of figures, I guess, that might slightly blow your mind, is that, so I've got 50,000 people in my downline, and that came from really 5 or 6 key people that I brought to the business. So that's what leverage is. That's what the network effect of compounding is. That's not because I went out there and knew 1,000 people. I didn't. I just locked arms with I would say 5 key people, and we just ran and we just did it and we made magic happen. You know, from those 5 people that I locked arms with, through me, I've sold $66 million US worth of Heelys. Like, that's leverage, right? And when it finally lands for you, like what it really is, and that compounding effect of the network effect, like you can make magic. All you got to do is find 2, 3, 4, 5 other people to lock arms with and create it with you.
And we do just want to add a disclaimer in here. It is mind-blowing, and keep in mind, Taryn and I were familiar with these business models and did have experience in these models, but we didn't when we started, you know. And what I think we realized early on, and why we developed the skills and learned how to create this as an income stream, was because if you're not on a pathway, like right now, maybe in yourself, drop in and think, is my business model, am I still trading my time for money? I may have left the corporate 9 to 5. I may now be self-employed, but is my business model actually putting me on a pathway for true financial freedom? And if it's not, we really need to start thinking, like, is that something I desire? Do I want to be able to really have financial freedom? Because you need to free your time, you need to free your energy, and you need to have a model that you know is putting you on that pathway. And so we could speak about this forever, leveraged income and the benefits of it. The other thing that I will add with coaches specifically and healers is that often, and you know, as you create an income stream through Healy, you open up to a global network. And then also we see a lot of people that then swap services and find ideal clients within the network, because you've got people that are like-minded and they're looking to develop different skills. So there's both ways. They both sort of feed into each other, I found personally, and what I see with coaches as well. We will flick over to the next slide. And we're just now going to touch on one of my favorite topics. So we've really got the 3 pillars when we're talking about, you know, this, we had the frequencies, the product, the leverage, and then the community. The community, like I've said, I've personally in the last week seen several big things that have made me so deeply grateful for community. At this time on the planet, having your village, having your global network of people that have your back, to me is one of the most important things, not only because it makes life more enjoyable and we can create way more than we can by ourselves, but also like Taryn and I and some people on this call, like, you know, if a family goes through something and they have to, you know, need support, when you have your village, I've seen this and have been so moved by this when people have had terrible things happen in their family and they put up a GoFundMe and everyone just contributes. And there's this real coming back to, we're meant to operate in community. We're meant to look after each other. We're meant to share skills. We're meant to share resources. We're meant to rise together. And I don't feel there's ever been a more important time in the planet that we really put this at the forefront again. And, you know, in a more business context, they always say, you know, your network's your net worth. And yes, that has its place. But for me, it comes back to that just core human need to care about each other and look after each other. So I think, I don't know, that's like on an even deeper level really dropped in for me this past week with some personal sort of things in our networks that have happened. And so that aside, that's a little passionate basis about community, but we now want to just hear from two beautiful people in the community that are coaches, and just hear a little bit. We'll hear from Kim first, why you decided to integrate Healy in what you were doing. So Kim Mealaw.
Exhale is what I feel like Healy has been like for me. And when you were speaking then, Sarah, about the community and how we all come together, I just had a flashback to a couple of weeks ago. We just finished the Freedom Frequency experience and we were sat around the dinner table and I looked you in the eyes and I just reflected back at you the amount of love and support and help and just how you've held me in my highest during my lowest time. And it brought me to tears looking at you in the eyes and just feeling so much gratitude for what you've given to me. And that is because of this community. So back in September time, my coaching business became very stressful. I was burnt out. I earned 6 figures in 6 months, but I also spent that amount of money. Now, if you would have told me that I would be spending 6 figures on coaches and investments, I would have, wow, that's a lot of money. But at the time, I really trusted that my guidance was calling me to make that investment. And my nervous system was in overdrive. I couldn't keep up with like the constant need to like launch and the stress that put on my nervous system. And I also felt very lonely. You know, this lone wolf slogan that's been shared this week, like I definitely felt like I was on my own. And I desperately just desired calm, peace, relaxation. And so when I was at my lowest moment, I asked the universe for help. I surrendered. The only thing I could do was actually surrender because I felt like my whole world was crumbling down. And in that surrender, the whisper said, it's time to do Healy. Now, Healy was in my awareness for 2+ years and I just ignored Sarah. It's like, I'm not doing Healy, just no. And then it became this fully channeled, full fuck yes, body feeling, every single chakra lit up like a Christmas tree. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the vehicle that's going to allow me to really live the life that I wanted. And I wanted to serve people in a big way, but I realized there was only one of me. And hearing Taryn's story of how you've impacted 50,000 lives from 5 or 6 people, this is why I truly believe that this lifetime we're going to see heaven on earth, because we're going to reach a tipping point. Because if everyone in community comes together and we all have a collective vision and we have open hearts and we're just here to be of service, that is what is going to change the world. So the scalability, the community, the impact, being able to give clients a long-term sustainable solution to their environment. You know, as a coach, there's like 3-month containers, 6-month containers that people have to find thousands of pounds for. And I just feel so great as a coach. I still love coaching and I will always coach, to provide people with a solution and a pathway to be a part of this amazing community. Because I realized I was supporting people to live self-expressed in who they were, but how could they do that if they had to then go and get a 9-to-5 job? So helping people to live fully expressed, never having to make another decision based on whether they can afford it, purely based on alignment. And then entering into this world of like soul tribe coming together for a common mission has just been the most incredibly life-changing, supportive exhale of my life. And I'm so grateful. So thank you for sharing.
Love that, Kim. Love your, I'm feeling your fully expressedness. Beautiful. And Sarah, I'd love to hear from you now, your journey as a mama, as a facilitator, as a multi-dimensional, faceted woman.
Thank you. Oof. Yeah. Gosh, so much I could share. I just want to echo what Kim said, because what day was it? It was only a few days ago that you sent me a voice message, Sarah, actually. And you said, I forget exactly what your words were, but it was something along the lines of, I just really want to support you and see you thrive. And, you know, that might sound like a really, you know, like, yes, of course, we all want to support each other. But I just remember when your words landed with me, and I was by my front door, I remember, and I sat down and I burst into tears, because it's interesting. So a little bit about me. So I've been a facilitator. I'm not a coach, everybody. I don't, not a coach. I'm a facilitator. I work through the body. I've worked predominantly with women for the last 11 years. Before that, I was a yoga teacher. And before that, I worked in television, ex-marketing and PR. But I've been very deeply in the world of serving women and holding space for women all over the planet. Most of my work is in person, although I do online containers and evergreen courses and all of the things. But it was interesting, because when you spoke to me and when you shared that, and I've been receiving so much support from this community, I didn't realize like how much I needed it, you know, and it was really, I was like, you know, speaking to that exhale piece, I was like, wow, I am so held by this community. And I didn't realize, like, I knew I needed it, but I didn't know how much I was truly longing for it. You know, after having my own business and doing pretty much everything all on my own for the last 11 years. And Healy came into my world in 2019, actually. But you know, Adahia, who's sharing on the other call in the other time zone, she started pestering me about Healy, you know, towards the end of 2019. And I felt a yes immediately, because I love everything frequency. But I didn't fully say yes until 2020. And in that moment, I feel like I was still really running the program of lone wolf, super independent. I was like, I don't want to get involved in social selling and get involved in a product. Like, I'm so clear on my brand and my community. I don't need to weave anything in. But I love my Healy. And then flash forward though to, when was it? It was only a couple of months ago. A few things had shifted in my world, you know, I'm a mother as well. I became a mother 6.5 years ago. So I've kind of journeyed through, you know, running a business, motherhood, different dynamics between my husband and I, as him being provider, and then things shifting and me needing to step up a little bit more and providing. And all of these kind of shifts, also more competition in the industry, as I think you spoke to, Taryn, like where, you know, when you used to do one post, like sharing something, or maybe you, Sarah, said it, Sarah, you know, you'd get clients, everything was easier. Suddenly there's just so much more noise in the space. And you think like, oh my God, there's just me doing this all on my own. It's too hard and I'm really burnt out, and I need people and I need to work with people, and I don't want to just sit in my house alone, you know, doing this thing. So I suddenly started seeing all of these like epic women that really inspire me sharing about frequency. And I remember messaging Adahia, and I was like, hold on a minute, I'm getting the feeling that there's some really epic people in the Healy space. And she said, yes, you should feel this lineage now. Like, it's incredible. And I did. And that was sort of my yes for fully coming back in. And I really feel that financial instability piece in the collective. I mean, obviously there's been like US banks and stuff over the last week, and astrologically it's all super big right now. And yeah, it just feels like if there was ever a time to rest back into being resourced by community and not standing in this like lone wolf kind of pillar that so many of us have held for so long, and it's made us so tired, like now is the time. And, you know, even in working with a lot of mothers, you know, and like I know that motherhood depletion piece very, very well. And, you know, we mother without a physical village, and, you know, to feel the support that this community gives me, and like the support is, I'm blown away every day by just how much love and holding that I receive. And even in weaving Healy into my work, and in some ways I'm still finding my voice with that, but it's weaving alongside all of my offerings. And I don't know, for those of us like creating our own content and our own programs and retreats and events and immersions and whatever they are, you know how it feels like, and how the energy works where you're creating from that space of like desperation and depletion, and that like that tensioning that comes through. You're like, fuck, how am I going to pay my rent? Like I've got to like like nothing lands so easily when you're creating from the space of being fully resourced, and when you're just able to follow that joy and that aliveness, and it's not like a financially pressurized decision when you birth your next retreat or whatever it is. Like I've been playing in this space of like noticing where I'm at with my creations energetically when I launch them, and if I'm in that scarcity, like I have to make this work because my family needs this. It usually works in the end, but it's so much more difficult. Yet when I'm coming from that place of this deep holding and the leveraged income piece and all of it, everything just becomes so much easier. And I feel that ease in my body. And I think that's all. I don't know. I could go on for a long time.
That's beautiful. No, that's beautiful. And I'm sure like maybe drop in the comments actually, because we will start to like bring it to completion. We're at the kind of start hour mark, but I loved that share. Thank you both, Sarah and Kim. And I'd love to know, like, drop in the comments, what has really landed for you so far of what you've heard? Maybe someone's share, maybe a realization you had, maybe you're like, whoa, I get what leveraged income is now, or I get what leverage is. So maybe just drop in the comments, like what has kind of landed for you in this time together. At least one thing. Rest back into being resourced by community. Yes, I love it. So keep sharing. And just to bring it to a completion for you, we want to, and I know some people are watching the replay, we want to sort of help you understand what it actually looks like to start to align with Healy and integrate it into what you do. And so there's a couple of options. You may be listening here and being like, look, I just really am excited about this product. I want to try it. I want to learn more about it. I want to use it on myself. I want to use it with clients, like my family, my community. So if that's you, some people start there. You may also be someone who's like, I'm intuitive. My whole body is buzzing right now. I know there is a calling here. I know that there's something I want to be part of. I want to help pioneer. I want to lead in this space. I want to contribute my skills. I want to create more income. If that's more what's exciting you and you more have that knowing, and again, there's levels. You may want to just share it with a few people in your community and your clients, or you may be like, I really want to run with this. I'm super excited. There's those different levels. You can just love the product. You can share it with people, and there's like affiliate model, or you can actually really be part of this community, create that leverage like Taryn shared. And there's really like anywhere in between you can take it, all the way to like really big income months through to like, whatever feels good for you, $5,000-$10,000 extra a month. You get to play here, and then we come in and support with the systems, the structures, the high level mentoring from 6, 7, 8-figure earners. That's where the sort of support comes in. And so there's many different levels that you can get involved. And really one thing we will add is there's a promotion on at the moment. So we'll go one more slide just to give you a visual for those visual people. The product itself is the same, but the software is different. The professional is our like highest recommendation, especially when we're talking to coaches, because it has all the programs, and it also has the Coaching Analyze app, which is the juicy one where you get to really put in your intentions, your goals, your visions, and then really see those unconscious patterns that are in the way, and then start really shifting and working. That for most coaches, and even myself and most people, that's their favorite feature. So the Professional and the Resonance Plus are probably the two highest recommendations. There's 40% off at the moment. So whoever invited you onto this call, that is the start place. That is the start point, is grab a Healy for yourself. Never a better time. There's also a free coil, which means you don't need these straps, even though they serve a very important purpose. You can actually put it on, have it all day, be protecting your energy and your vibration when you're on client calls, all of that, plus the Natural Cycles program. So reach out to the person. That's about getting started. Then the other thing is we are all doing an 88 days to Quantum Leap. So when you purchase a Healy, that is also your entry into a business container that you don't have to pay tens of thousands, 6 figures for, like I know some coaches do. You get to be part of this high level business mentorship for free when you purchase your Healy, where you get to learn wealth consciousness work, where you get to learn from incredible leaders, where you get to learn skill sets to help you take your business, which will also support your coaching business, to a whole new level. So again, depending on if you're sort of just learning more about the product through to like intuitively, I get it, I'm an action taker, I'm all in, reach out to the person, and that is what is available here. We're just starting this business incubator, so it's really never been, next slide, if you can see the slides. There's really never been a better time to, you know, if you're here now, I trust it's for a reason, and we're just here to support. You call at what level you want to play, and then we're here to support, like Sarah said. And we really do want to see you thrive. So Karen, is there any parting words of wisdom that you want to share about the 88 days or the product itself?
Oh, there we go. I'm unmuted. Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is, like, we're in such an amazing time right now for multiple reasons inside of the industry, inside of where we're at globally, where we're at astrologically, where we as a community right now are at in terms of being able to come into an 88-day container. Like it's one of those spaces where I feel like right now the stars are really aligning. You know, I spoke to you about kind of the successes and whatnot that I've been able to personally have, and then so have actually many within inside my team have also had. I mean, you've got Sarah and the others on here that are a reflection of that. But I will say that right now is going to be so much more powerful than even when we started. So right now is really an amazing time for multiple reasons. But yeah, I mean, in so many ways, oh, I'm so glad I've had the journey that I've had. But I know in so many ways, whatever I have created, if you've got that burning desire inside of you to do that, it's available for you. And you have all of the resources, and you have all of the support, and you have all of the timing all lined up for you right now. So just do it.
We didn't have any of the systems and structures and mentoring that's in place. The hard way. So if we've done it, trust me, the road is much smoother.
We can do it.
And it's called the 88 days to Quantum Leap, because that's what we see happen inside of these containers. People really have the quantum shifts, both with the shifting their frequency, both with the regulation of community and that higher frequency spaces they get to be in, the product itself, and then the income shifts available. So do reach out. I think there were some questions about the Healy models. I don't know if we ended up getting the slide up. But yeah, if the person who invited you is the one to talk to, be like, okay, this is, and go back to that person and do it straight after this call, because we're also in this era of doing things in this new way where it gets to be clear and transparent and feel good for everyone involved. And just say, hey, look, loved that presentation. I'm at a 1, I'm like curious and I want to learn a bit more about the product, or yeah, I'm an intuitive person and I get it and I'm ready to go, and like send me the link. Or like, yeah, hang on, like this sounds really cool. Like, can I have more of a chat to you about it and how I could integrate it in with my product offerings and like what that could look like. So just have a really honest chat with whoever invited you, to just be super clear on, this is where I'm at, and they're going to really respect and support you wherever you're at. But just having that clear communication just makes it feel really good for everyone. So I hope you enjoyed this.
One last bit is that, and I just want to add it just so it gives people some comfort. You can go get your Healy and have 14 days to play with it. If there is some reason that you don't fall madly, hypnotically in love with it, then send it back. We have a, open box policy. From the day that it arrived, you've got 14 days to play with your Healy and see if it truly resonates with you.
Yes, because we're in the frequency space. It's all about resonance. And I think that's why people who have maybe heard about leveraged income, affiliate marketing, network marketing, and been like, before, come into this space and they're like, it feels so different because we're working on a different frequency, and we're all in this era of like feeling resonance, and the people that gravitate to this tend to already have a very good understanding of themselves and energy, frequency, and vibration. And so, yeah, it's operating on sort of a different level. So we thank you for your time, your presence, your involvement, showing up, being engaged, open to receive and learn. And we truly are excited to support more coaches and all your geniuses, like get your message out into the world. It is a platform here too, for whatever that message is, for us to support you amplify that. And one last thing that I will drop is there's also a retreat in Portugal, end of June. I couldn't get off without sharing this with you. There's probably going to be 300 to 400 of the most incredible light worker, coach, facilitator, energy healers all in one place, where we have a 3-day incredibly beautiful winery in Portugal, where we have 3 days of high level training from speakers around the world, and the level of connection and community that will be formed in person will be like a whole different level. So if this is sparking a curiosity, and just have that in your mind, that is also coming up. So I can't wait, hopefully to meet some of you in person or connect with you more after this webinar. Lots of love from us, and we will have another one tomorrow morning, our time, evening for US, for people that you may want to invite on, or you may want to jump on again. Bye everyone.